Hey, book lovers, we are Ellen and Sarah, and this is Besties and Books, where we drink wine, share laughs, talk fantasy, and all other genres.
Today we are back with our full spoiler reading vlog of the Boys of Tommen series, Book 3, Saving 6, which follows Joey and Aoife. If you're following along, we are vlogging the entire Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. We adore this series, and like we said, it is full spoilers. So if you have not read Boys of Tommen, click out of this video now and go read it. With that being said, let's get straight into it.
Hi besties, I'm here to do my first vlog check-in for our new book, Saving 6 by Chloe Walsh. This is book 3 in the Boys of Tommen series. We have done a vlog on books 1 and 2, which followed Shannon and Johnny. Book 3, the focus is on Shannon's older brother Joey and a girl called Aoife. I am very excited about this book. I am also very nervous about this book. Books 1 and 2 were amazing. They were an emotional roller coaster. Both Ellen and I were just fully engrossed in the story. We could not put it down. Book 3 has gone back in time. It's starting off earlier than where books 1 and 2 were set. And in the first 10% that I've read, we've already got a lot of additional insights into Joey and Shannon's home life. I'm a little bit nervous that this book is just going to rehash events that happened in books 1 and 2, and I hope that's not the case. But given how much I loved books 1 and 2, I'm sure I'm going to love it. 10% in, it does feel like we're sort of just playing catch up, maybe for those who didn't read books 1 and 2. There's a lot of background information regarding Joey's family life, a lot of which we know already. It's just being told from Johnny's perspective. So not much more to say. I will be focusing on this book over the next week, and if it's as good as books 1 and 2, I'm sure I will fly through it and love it. We'll see.
Hey besties, Ellen here. We are back with another full spoiler reading vlog for the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. We're up to book 3, Saving 6, and I am so excited to dive back into this series. If you've watched our other vlogs or our reading wrap up, you'll know that Sarah and I rated books 1 and 2 of this series 5 stars, and we have been dying to get back into it. So book 3 follows Joey's story in the Lynch family, and I've heard amazing things about his perspective. I've heard people say that this book and the 4th book are their favorite in the entire series, so I'm so excited to read it, and I just am soaking in every single moment because I know I'll never read this again for the first time, and I'm really anticipating this series to be one of my favorites of all time and entering that god tier status. So when I picked it up last night, I was like, okay, I'm sure I'll get, a few pages in and that'll be it. And then I'll, do a check-in. But I am already flying through it. I am 15% through. I feel like I just blinked and I was already at the 15% mark. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a check-in. I'm loving it. Like, if that's not obvious, then let me tell you how much I am already loving it so far. I know it's we're going back in Joey's past and we're rehashing a lot of what we already know in terms of the family dynamic at home and Joey's relationship with his girlfriend Aoife. But we get to meet them for the first time and be introduced to how they met and the dynamic between them, and the chemistry is just flying off the page. I love the banter. I love even the insults back against one another. It's just their chemistry literally is sizzling off the page and I am eating it up. But where the book begins is with a prologue of Darren, the eldest brother, dropping off Joey to BCS. I guess it's secondary school, his first day of secondary school. And we know that Darren's going to leave because it had already happened in books 1 and 2. But with book 3, from Joey's perspective, in the prologue, we go back in time to right before that happens. And you can really anticipate Darren being about to leave, and you get to witness the goodbye that he gives to Joey without voicing that he's actually going to leave. But Joey's got this gut instinct that that's something bad's going to happen. And oh my gosh, it was like you knew it was coming, but you still wanted to stop it, and you still thought there was a chance that Darren wouldn't do it and he wouldn't leave Joey and his family behind. And it just gave me all the same vibes that I felt reading Assassin's Blade from Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. If you have read the Throne of Glass series, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there's an event that happens in Assassin's Blade, and if you read it third in the book, like you're, I guess, in the publishing order that you're supposed to, you know that this event is coming and it's going to happen, but it still really hits, and you still think there's a chance that it won't, and it's not real and it's not going to happen. But it does, and it rips your heart out all the same. And I got all those same vibes when Darren left Joey. Oh, it was just so gut-wrenching. The other thing is, if you've watched our previous vlogs, you'll know that I had like a complicated relationship or feelings with the Lynch mother. I really wanted to feel empathy and sympathy for her at times, but then other times I hated her. And then sort of by the end of book 2, she makes, I guess, somewhat of a sacrifice for her children. But in Joey's perspective, you really get to see more insight as to how she treated Joey. And she's awful. She is horrible to Joey. Joey is 12. He is protecting her. He's copying beatings. He's trying to prevent some of the things that the father's doing to her. And then she has the audacity to compare Joey to his father and say, not only do you look like him, but your personality from an emotional level is exactly like him as well. And this is how he started. And it's just, the things that this boy went through at 12 is horrific. And my heart is just being wrenched out already. I can tell this is going to be such an emotional read. But if you couldn't tell already, I'm loving it. Obsessed, only 15% through. I'm just trying to soak in every single moment, every single word off the page, and I will absolutely check in again when I've got something more to say, or probably around the 50% mark. But yeah, totally loving it so far. Okay, I'll check in again soon.
Hi besties, here for my next check-in. Saving 6 by Chloe Walsh. I am almost at the 40% mark. At this point, Joey and Aoife, our two main characters, are around 15 years old. They are friends, but nothing has progressed further than that. Joey in particular is very guarded and won't let anyone get too close to him. There has been quite a focus on Joey's home life. He has a new baby brother. He is essentially the father figure for his baby brother, plus his 3 other younger siblings. He is taking care of all of them, and he is using drugs to cope with this. It is a full-on family situation. He uses drugs to function, drinking to function, continually pushes Aoife away. She does not realize his home situation is this bad. She does like him, and she keeps coming back and wants to be friends, but he does just keep pushing her away, and he doesn't want anything at this point past friendship, even though we know he does think very highly of her. Aoife is driving me crazy. She has a boyfriend called Paul, who's a bit of a dick. They're obviously not good together. They obviously don't really like each other. And she just goes back to him time and time again. They break up, she goes back, break up, she goes back. I'm just a little bit over it. I'm definitely not as hooked and as into this book as I was into books 1 and 2 of the Boys of Tommen series. It's also not as funny. There were some hilarious side characters in books 1 and 2, and we haven't really seen that yet in book 3. But I have still got absolute faith in Chloe Walsh, and I am still expecting this to be a 4 to 5 star book. Just at the moment, it's really not there. And, I live in faith. It's going to get good. By next check-in, I will be eating my words, I hope, and I will be saying this is the best book ever. We'll see. Bye.
Hey besties, I am back with another reading check-in. Still loving the book. I'm about 50% of the way through. I am totally obsessed. I love Joey. I love Aoife. I just find their banter so funny, so fantastic. There's a really great scene where Joey mixes Viagra with cocaine. It's like this concoction that he got by accident, and it's obviously super dark. He shouldn't be doing that, but the way that it's written also provides a lot of comic relief to the situation, and I just totally love it. He's such a grumpy and Aoife's such a sunshine. I'm at a point now where they've just finally kissed and I'm like, oh, this has taken so long to get here, but I understand why it was done that way. It's created a lot of tension between the two and I love the tension. Paul can just go. We all know he's a crappy character, but he had his place to build that tension between Aoife and Joey so that it wasn't so insta-lovey. But oh my gosh, the scene after Joey and Aoife kiss for the first time where they're caught by Rebecca and Danielle and then they call Paul and his brother Billy who start beating the living crap out of Joey was horrific. Horrific. I was like, I could not put it down. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like Joey's antagonizing them. They've pinned him down and Paul or Billy, I can't remember who, is just laying into him with kicks straight to the stomach. It is brutal. Absolutely brutal and really, really hard to read. That was so full on. But I'm excited to see now that where Joey and Aoife have kissed, how their relationship's going to develop from here. Paul just needs to go. Like, let's just stop with Paul and Aoife now. I'm over it. Let's move on. Joey and Aoife have kissed now, so I really hope Paul doesn't come back into the picture. We're also hearing more and more about Joey's perspective of what's going on at home and the dynamic between him and his father and all the fights, physical fights that they have and the abuse that he's copying and him protecting his family a lot. He's really sort of the hero of the family there. But what I'm finding really shocking is that so many people are witnessing or suspecting what's going on at home, but they're not doing anything about it. They're just sort of letting them resolve. It's eating them alive and they're really upset about it and want to do something, but they're just not. Like Joey clearly has some friends that are aware of what's going on. Not that Joey's told them, but you know, they've seen the bruises at school. They've seen the scars. They've seen his anger. And they've seen his father be a total drunk turning up to these hurling games. So it's pretty obvious they've put two and two together. But they're still not doing anything. They're not reporting it. They haven't said anything to Joey. They're just sort of making sure that they're there for him as a friend. But no one's protecting these kids. I'm like, what is going on? Joey obviously works for Aoife's father as, you know, an employee in the mechanic shop, but I don't think Aoife's father fully understands what's going on. But still, no one is stepping in for these kids. It is totally heartbreaking. Anyway, that is all I have to say for now. I will check in with you again around that 70% mark or when I'm nearing the end.
And for my next check-in on Saving Six, I'm probably about 70% through the book now. There has been a lot of Aoife and her on again, off again boyfriend, Paul. I was almost at my limit. She just needed to get rid of him. When is she going to realise he's not a very nice guy? Thankfully, she has realised and she has ditched him for good. And Aoife and Joey have just gotten together, which is really, really cute. In terms of the plot, I do feel like nothing really sort of has happened with the plot. I don't know if I feel that way because we already know so much about Joey's home life, if it would have made a difference if I hadn't read books 1 and 2, but not much happens. And that's not to say I'm not enjoying it, because I am hooked on Aoife and Joey's story, but this book is definitely about their relationship blossoming from a beautiful friendship to something more. There's not much plot to go with it. And I could be wrong, but I sort of get the impression there's not going to be much actual plot in this book. We have just had our first encounter with Johnny and Gibbs, two of our key characters from books 1 and 2, and that put a huge smile on my face. But also made me realise that book 3 is not as funny as the first 2 books. First 2 books, I laughed out loud a lot. This one has a more of a somber vibe to it. I'm excited to see how it ends. My next check-in, I will have finished the book and we'll see if it ends on a cliffhanger like book 1 did. That's it for now. Bye.
Hey besties, I'm back with another super quick reading check-in. I'm about 70 to 75% of the way through Saving 6. Still loving it. Look, I have to admit it's not as gripping as Binding 13, but I am anticipating that I am so close to the end. I have heard it's a cliffhanger ending, and so I think it's going to rock me to my absolute core, and I cannot wait. So not a lot has happened since my last check-in until now, other than Aoife and Joey have got together, which we knew was going to happen because it has already happened in books 1 and 2 of the Boys of Tommen series. We also have more insight into how Joey's mother treats Joey and the comparisons to his father, and it's just super, super rough for Joey. I cannot stand her even more, his mum. It's just absolutely horrific. She has zero faith in her son. She is a horrible person. Sorry, you can probably hear my kids giggling in the background. She's just a horrible person. She has zero faith in Joey, and I just can't stand her. But the point where I'm at now is Joey has just pulled the ultimate ultimatum on Aoife and said, if you report anything to the guards, then we are over. Brutal. Anyway, I think this is my last check-in before the end. I'm scared. I'll probably finish it tonight, and I am so ready for my heart to be ripped in two.
Hi besties. My final check-in for Saving 6 by Chloe Walsh. I have just finished the book, and that was an emotional read. The last 30% really ramps up in the sort of intensity of the emotions. Joey is really, really struggling with the burden of being a parent figure for his younger siblings. He is again and again turning to drugs as a coping mechanism. Aoife is there trying to bring him out of it and get him to stop. She's trying to save him, and he won't be saved. She feels like he is failing. Joey feels like everything is hopeless and he is worthless. And Aoife, who has been so positive all book and has been a light in Joey's life, she is starting to show signs that she is feeling hopeless too, and she doesn't know where to go. So the book really ends on this depressing, hopeless vibe. I do have hope that the next book called Redeeming 6, there's hopefully going to be a redemption arc, and we will see Joey and Aoife come out of this tough and horrible time of their lives. The book has ended and they are both 18 years old. So in terms of when books 1 and 2 were set, we're basically at the time period of the start of book 1, where Shannon is about to start at her new school, Tommen. So I am super excited for book 4 for some little cameo appearances of Johnny and Shannon, which we got a little bit of a glimpse of in Saving 6, but I would like more of it. And I just really, really, really want a nice ending for Joey and Aoife, because at the moment things are pretty dire. So overall, thoroughly enjoyed the book. It was a 4-star for me, and a solid 4-star, but it just didn't quite grab me as much as books 1 and 2. I'm hoping the next one will, but so far, yeah, it's a solid 4-star for me.
Hey besties, so I've just finished Saving 6, and oh my, wow, such an emotional roller coaster, so utterly gut-wrenching to the point where I feel sick to my stomach with, if you know, you know, but the ending where Aoife finds Joey basically, it's so hard to even say, but with a syringe in his arm and high on heroin and really pulling him out of that, and then them breaking up and Joey trying to get his head together and face his addiction head on without any help, by the way. He's not going to rehab. He's not getting psychological help. He's just putting this burden on himself as well as looking after the family, and I'm really scared for how that's going to turn out. But him leaving Aoife, because he believes that that's what's in her best interest, is just like, the whole situation. It's just heavy. The breakup's heavy. How she found Joey's heavy. The point of his life, of where he is now, is just so heavy. I feel like I really need to read something light and fluffy after this, because it's just, the way that it was written, it's like made me feel so anxious and sad and heartbroken and like all the feels. It's literally, this book has brought about all the feels. The ending has brought about all the feels. And I am just like, how has this author managed to do this? It is so brilliantly written. It's really, really good. And I do want to get into Redeeming Six, but I'm also like, I need to recover. I literally feel like I'm going into recovery right now, and I'm going to read something lighter before going into Redeeming Six. I still love Joey. I still love Aoife. I love Gibsie's little cameo that happens with Johnny at a pub, where they catch Joey and Aoife in a pretty compromising position, and Gibsie's humour really comes out. So that was a really fun cameo that I loved in the book. But otherwise, yes, super heavy, gut-wrenching ending. And I just hope that in Redeeming Six, that Joey manages to pull himself together. And I wonder where the timeline is going to start, because when you follow the Binding 13 and then Keeping 13 timeline, a lot happens. And we know that Joey does end up going to rehab after his parents' death. And so I'm wondering, is that going to be imminent in Redeeming Six? Because where the end of Saving Six left us, Shannon hadn't even started at Tommen yet. So I feel like there's still another whole year that has to happen. And it's like, is Joey going to relapse? Like, is Redeeming Six just literally going to tear us apart again and watch Joey go down this like road of addiction? This book really sheds light on some heavy topics. Okay, with that being said, my star rating. So this was always going to be a 4 to 5 star book. I think if you've watched all my check-ins, you know that I have been pretty gripped and loved it. So far, I do like Binding and Keeping 13 more. I think there was just a bit more of that comic relief and a bit more joy that could be found in little moments, and especially between, like, in terms of Johnny and Shannon's relationship, that was always super positive. There was never anything sort of super gut-wrenching between the two of them. But with Joey and Aoife, a lot of the dark moments have happened between their relationship, and there hasn't been a lot of that comic relief. So it's been a really, really heavy read. In saying that, I still want to give it 5 stars, and I think this is a 5-star read, but it's a shaky 5-star read. And I mean that I just need to be pulled out of this deep, dark depression and emotional state after reading this book. And I hope that that happens in Redeeming Six. And if that does happen, then this will be hands down a 5-star read. But if this rips my heart out again in Redeeming Six, which I suspect that it might, then it might just be that little bit too heavy for me, and I need a bit more of that comic relief sort of thrown in there. So for now, it's a 5-star reads. We'll watch this space, and we will be reading Redeeming Six very, very soon and doing a full spoiler vlog experience for that as well. And perhaps this could be even better than Binding and Keeping 13 if Joey makes an epic comeback. We will see. So watch this space, and I cannot wait to hear what Sarah thinks. Bye!
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and please send us any book recommendations. Until next time, bye!
Bye!